Hey, what's going on? Mark here for Unoriginal Noobs. Back in Resonant Rise tutorial series, Applied Energistics Part 2. And this part I'm going to be going over some of the origin, some of the new items added, the way you can connect all your networks together, and I'm going to be going over how you actually build a network. Alright, so let's get right into it. So Applied Energistics only adds one type of ore to the game, and that is this Certus Quartz ore. And Certus Quartz is going to be the ore that you're going to be using to build all your components with, along with Nether Quartz ore. So when you mine up Certus Quartz ore, you're going to get this, well, it says entity.itemframe.name or whatever, but you're going to get these Certus Quartz crystals. And what you can do is you can put those in a pulverizer or a grinder or something that kind of pulverizes ores, and you can get Certus Quartz dust. Also, Applied Energistics also adds 4 more types of dusts to the game. It adds Nether Quartz dusts, Iron dust, Gold dust, and Ender Pearl dust to the game. Now, if Applied Energistics is one of the only mods you have on your, let's say, on the mod pack that you're using, and there's no other form of grinder on there, there is an item in the game called a grindstone and then a wooden crank, and you craft them each separately, and then you just put the wooden crank onto the grindstone. And I'll go ahead and we'll grab some iron, we'll say. And you just put the ore or any item into the top left slot here, so up here. And then you just right click on the grindstone, and then the grindstone will start to turn, as you can see. And it will put ores into here, and there you go. It automatically it says Ender IO because I guess it's turning it into Ender IO iron dust, just because how the ore dictionary works. But it turns it into some form of pulverized iron dust. Okay, so how do you actually connect your networks? Well, there's 2 types of cable. There's ME cable and then ME covered cable. As far as I know, there's no actual functional... Oops, let me just make it daytime here. There's no actual functional difference between those. So they can both connect to any other type of cable. So if I get some of this cable will connect to that cable. And then if I get some of this cable, once again, that cable can connect to that cable. There's no actual functional difference. So if you look at this ME cable here, that's why I've connected all of my machines to my controller that I had in the previous episode. I just connected them all with this ME cable. Okay, next up we have colored cable, and besides being aesthetic, it is a way to organize systems and keep systems separated from each other. So you can have a whole system on a blue ME cable line here that's all dedicated to ore processing, we'll say, and then you have a whole, let's say the black line here is dedicated to all auto crafting, stuff like that. And so despite them being all different colors, they won't actually connect to each other. So if I put a blue cable here, you can see it doesn't connect to the black cable. And same with, it won't connect to the black or the white cable. It won't connect to the brown or the white cable. However, these color cables will connect to the covered cable, or these colored cables will connect to the basic cables and the covered cables. So that is a good thing to note. All right. Next up, and not least, of course, we have the ME Dart cable. What the ME Dart cable is a way to split off and add sections of your network. So what it does is when you place it down, it looks a little bit darker than a normal ME cable. However, when you apply a redstone signal to it, it activates the cable, which activates that part of the network. So say on the left side, we had the rest of our network, and then on the right side, we just had a little sub-network, we'll say. Well, if this was turned off, that means the little sub-network is now completely detached from the main network. Just basically, when this is turned off, think of there being no cable there at all. However, when the redstone signal is turned back on... Oops, sorry, we'll do that a little better. However, when the redstone signal is turned back on, think of it as you're putting down a cable there, and now this little sub-network, say that it was connected to this, will now be connected to your main network. So it's just a way to wirelessly control if a cable is activated or not. It's what the ME Dart cable does. All right, so next up, I'm going to be showing you how to actually build an ME network. So I'll be showing you how you can place the controllers, how to connect everything up together. So I'll be right back here in just a sec, and I'll kind of be doing some flybys, and I'll be showing you how to set up a network. All right, be right back. To start building your AE system, you're going to want to clear out a small area, and then after you've cleared out that small area, you want to go ahead and just place the controller down wherever you want. In this example, I'm just going to place it down right in the middle of the little marble square I have here, so we can get started with building our small little AE network. Now that we've actually placed our controller, we have to power it somehow. So you can power it how you would power anything else. You can just connect up cables to it or connect up some sort of battery to it. Here I just have a creative energy cell supplying with RF power just so it can sustain for an infinite amount of time. However, if you want to see all the possible power that you can supply it with, if you just open up the controller, in the top left corner, there is a toggleable button that will cycle through all the possible power options. And now once it is powered, you can see that the controller's the vertical gray column has now become a colored column that shows the power levels within the controller. Next, we want to place down either an ME chest or an ME drive. This way we'll actually have a place that we can put in ME storage buses or ME storage cards that we can actually physically store items onto. However, we won't be able to physically access those items just yet. Once you have put ME storage cells into your ME chest or ME drive, you will notice these storage cells show as gray on the front of the drive and the chest. This is because you still have to hook up the ME drive or the ME chest to your ME controller with some sort of ME cable. You can just simply do this by connecting it on the back of the ME driver chest and connecting it directly to the controller. So I'm assuming you're going to want to actually physically be able to access the items that you have stored on your drives. So to do that, you actually need to put down a access terminal, and the access terminal won't be able to do anything just yet. What you actually have to do is you have to connect your ME access terminal just as you did to the ME chest and the ME drive. Just attach some access cables or some ME cables from the access terminal to the ME controller, just like you did to the drive and chest. If you had followed the video steps, then congratulations, you have successfully completed your very first Applied Energistics ME system, and you can now start storing items. So I can right click on the access terminal and access our diamonds. I put diamonds in there, didn't actually put diamonds in there for me. But once you have followed those few easy steps and you follow the instructions, you've now set up your basic Applied Energistics unit just to store items, basically. All right, so why don't I go ahead and I'll actually show you how to set up a crafting terminal, an auto crafting computer now, because with just this setup, you won't be able to auto craft items yet. So why don't I go ahead and I'll show you how to build a massive Mac molecular assembly chamber, and I'll kind of explain how it works. And all right, I'll see you in just a sec. So once you've cleared out another area, depending on how big you want to build your computer, we can actually start getting down to the construction of the computer itself. So the first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to make an outer shell made of the ME assembler containment walls, and these will make up kind of the edges and the corner pieces of the computer. And after you're happy with the size of that, you're going to want to fill in all the faces with ME heat vents. So once you have done that, you must fill in the entire inside of your computer with ME crafting CPUs and ME pattern providers. The CPUs determine how fast your computer can craft items, whereas the amount of pattern providers you have determines how many patterns your computer can store. Depending on your needs, you can vary the quantity of CPUs and pattern providers. Just make sure that the entire inside of the computer has no empty spaces when you finish. Okay, so if you have successfully completed your ME or MAC molecular assembly chamber, let me just go ahead and put in the final heat vent I need for this. You'll see all the textures merge together, and then you'll actually be able to right click on the computer and access all the crafting pages. So in here I have 3 pattern providers, so I'll have 3 crafting pages. So I can see I can toggle through all 3 of them, and then all you have to do to connect it to your network is simply just run an ME cable to it. So I'll just kind of run this across here, and boom, now we have it attached. So if I go in our controller, we can see I have 54 heat vents, 44 containment walls, 24 processors, and there we go, 3 pattern providers. All right, so how do we actually use this thing? All right, so for this example, let's do a very basic pattern, we'll say. So to make a pattern, you're going to need an ME pattern encoder. And I'll just grab one here and bring it over here. The ME pattern encoder does not actually need it doesn't need power, it doesn't need to be connected to anything. So if I just right click on it, and you'll see this little crafting inventory here along with the clear encode and then some pattern symbols. You want to put in ME blank patterns into this top right section here, and then they can stack up to 64 times. So let me just go ahead and I'll just grab another pattern quickly. ME blank pattern, because I'm going to need 2 of them for the example I'm using. Okay, so let's craft something simple. Let's say a diamond pickaxe. So I just have a few items in my terminal here. So for a diamond pickaxe, I need sticks and I need diamonds. So I can go into the terminal, and then I can either put in the recipe manually, so I can put in 3 diamonds and 2 sticks. These are ghost items, by the way, as well, so they don't actually consume the items. And then I could click encode and encode this recipe. That's one way to do it. However, you can also, so if I go pickaxe, if there's a recipe you see in here, you can open up that recipe, shift right click on the question mark. It will put that recipe automatically into the crafting grid, and then you can just hit encode. So now I have successfully encoded a diamond pickaxe onto this ME encoded pattern. Okay, so if we go into our access terminal, we can see there are no diamond picks. We have nothing in there. However, if we go and put this crafting recipe into our molecular assembler chamber, we just make it daytime, and we put it in there, you can see once I put it into the assembly chamber, the icon's going to switch from the pattern icon to the actual icon of what it's meaning to craft. So if I put it down, you can see it switches to a diamond pick. This isn't actually a diamond pick, it's just still the pattern itself. But now if I come back into the ME access terminal and right click, you can see we have this diamond pick, but instead of having any numbers below it, you can see it says craft. So if I click on it, we can select how many we want to craft. So I don't know, let's craft 5 diamond picks, we'll say, and you type in how many of that item you want to craft, and then click begin, and it will automatically boom. You can see we have 5 diamond picks. Easy. All right. Another cool thing with the molecular assembly chamber is, let's go and type in quarry. So we go to quarry and see the recipe for it. You can see it requires diamond picks and gears to make. Well, that's kind of interesting, because what the molecular assembly chamber does is, if we don't have any diamond picks in here, we'll say, so if the the quarry requires diamond pickaxes in the recipe. However, if we don't have any diamond picks, it immediately looks for any crafting recipes for a diamond pick, and it will just so happen to be that right in here we have a recipe for a diamond pick. So if you auto craft all the components required for a quarry, or put in all the recipes required for the gears, you can auto craft quarries from raw materials, because it will craft all the gears that you need as long as you put in all the recipe for those gears in there. So let's go ahead and let's make a quarry recipe. So let's bring up the quarry recipe, shift right click on the question mark, and I want to make sure I have gold gears, not force gears. Shift left click, sorry, and we bring up the quarry recipe, hit encode. So you'll notice I don't have any diamond picks in here, and I can go ahead and put this recipe in, boom, quarry, and then I can just go ahead and request 1 quarry, and then look at the quantity of diamond picks, and you might see it flash for a second to 1 and then get immediately taken into the quarry recipe. But when I try to craft one, there, see, it kind of flashed, and now we have 1 quarry. So as long as you have the recipes for all the items that are required for a recipe, it will try and auto craft all those items too, if you have patterns for them. Alright, I think that's all I'm going to do for this tutorial. So I've kind of taught you how to set up a basic ME system, and then how to set up the auto crafting computer. In the next one, I'll just be going over some of the miscellaneous stuff, as well as teaching you how to use the spatial pylons and the spatial IO port, and just exactly how that works, because that's pretty cool actually. So, hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!